We are exactly at 2:15. He just said life of a timer. I'm like, the problem with the life of a timer is you're always looking at your watch and wanting to start exactly when you're supposed to, which is hard with little kids in your life. So we're moving on to the next section, which is race day tech updates. I'm just going to do the intro because James and Avery are going to be talking about everything, and anything that I was going to tell you about tech updates are just going to be regurgitations of what they would have told me. So yeah, the things that we are going to be talking about are the things that have happened, and I think we have some things that are happening with the Checkin app, the mobile timing app. If you haven't already seen this, it's going to be very helpful for those of you that have maybe been playing with things like time machines or summit readers, or like how do we do little things here and there. Could be a really nice tool that is not, I mean, it's free. So there. And then a lot of changes, obviously, in the last 12 months with, actually at this point, it's like 24 months with race day scoring since we've been around you guys, 18 months, something like that. And then James will be talking about all the updates that have happened with RaceJoy. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it off. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. They'll repeat the question. And at the end, if we have time at the end, we'll be passing around the microphone. That way, when we have the recording, we'll have everything on the recording with audio.
Yep. Cool. Got the clicker. Thanks. So if any of you don't already know me, I'm Matt Avery. I'm the product manager for Race Day products. So that includes the Checkin apps, all the other apps we do. Race Day scoring is my baby. Spend a lot of my time there. And James manages RaceJoy along with me as well. So today we're going to be going through some of the updates that have been made to our products, since we last spoke. Try and go through this pretty quick. I have a lot of slides to do because I'm way too verbose when I put together these things. So let's go ahead and get started. So Race Day Checkin, you saw probably if you were in the last discussion about this, had a lot of recent updates to it. We've had some really great developers working hard on updating this product. It's been moved over to my team, James, 2 years ago or so. And we've dedicated a whole lot of resources to it to make it even better for you and for your events. So biggest updates, the main areas of focus that we've been on for Race Day Checkin have been allowing you to do more participant information updates. This is so that you can now update question responses by the Checkin app. Before you couldn't do that. You could also update all sorts of other things that you were before not allowed to. We've improved the preset and configuration setup workflow. So now, as you've seen, you can, when you open up a preset, instead of showing you all of the settings in one big giant list, it's collapsed into little sections so you can see exactly what you need to do as you're setting it up. And most importantly, the most recent thing was we've opened up the ability to edit these existing cloud presets and configurations, or just save them on my single device. Before this update, everything was just, if I needed to update this configuration of a Checkin app, it would be only local. I couldn't update other devices. Now with this change, it's opened up a whole new thing, whole new aspect. You can say, I'm going to edit my volunteer configuration, and it's going to update anybody else who's using that configuration when they go in and load it. So that's a big change for us. Did involve some updates to the interface as we were making those changes, however. Improved check-in workflow. We've added a whole lot of features around making it easier to, when you are checking someone in and changing their event and so on, the whole flow of doing that has been improved quite a bit. We've made some improvements to the quick check-in functionality. So that's if you're just scanning registration IDs, then scanning bib numbers. We've added tones when you get a success, it beeps at you. When it's doesn't work or the bib number's incorrect, it honks at you. And we've added the label printer support, which I'm sure many of you have seen downstairs in the demo room. If you haven't yet, come check it out. It's pretty slick. And we'll be applying this label printer support over to other apps eventually as well. Something we're using Checkin app as a test bed for, and we're really excited about it. The way that we did it, we recommend the Brother 810W printer, but it's technically possible to use other ones. We haven't tested it, but if anybody wants to try it out and gets another, like a Zebra printer or something installed and can make it work, It's just using the native printer of the device. So as long as the label size works out right, we can support it officially. So yeah, I could go through all these. Now, basically, you'll see we've added this update registrant info. So you can update all sorts of information. And on the right, you can see here, all of this info is under this update registrant info. I can update everything at once I want to here, anything I could possibly need to. Big change too is you can now view fundraising details in the Checkin app. So if you're doing a fundraising event, you can actually see how much this individual has raised in their fundraiser and whether or not they've met their goal and or their fundraising minimum that was required. So some events set a fundraising minimum and say you have to raise $100. And so it could be that they've raised 99, they need to pay $1 or something like that. So it'll show all that info now right in the Checkin app. It's really slick. This is a nice one. You can see in the main grid, we now show age as a column by default. A lot of times you'll have father, son, same name, but one's older than the other, and you couldn't figure out which one was which until you clicked into it. So now we'll show that. This is a really nice one. This registration ID. It doesn't sound like that interesting, but what it actually does under the hood is it provides you a link to view the registration at RunSignup and manage it. So this is great because there's those situations, there's some feature out there on RunSignup that exists that Checkin app you can't update with, or you needed to view transactional data or something that is we don't have access to. You can click the registration ID link and it'll bring you to the RunSignup dashboard. So you can do whatever you need to there. Maybe like you need to manage their donations or something. You can navigate to it right from the app now. It's really powerful utility. You might want to put it on your staff preset. And group team bib can now be edited as well as the individual bib numbers right in this big giant update registrant info form. Yeah. Steve's asking about loyalty info, and it's been a request we've had. So basically loyalty info is like how many times has this registrant done this race? And it'll show you like 5, 6, 7. It is a request we have on RunSignup to open that up so we can get that info in the API so that we could put it into the app. But it's definitely something that's out there and we would put it into the app. So I'll put your name on the list, Steve. Okay, so this is the preset and configuration setup workflow changes that we've done. We just collapsed all these panels, made it a whole lot easier to see what you can change. A lot of people were really confused when they used to set up presets because they would just see a long list of stuff and it would just be all the check-in steps at first. So now we just collapsed it to make it a little bit easier. So you can see, oh, I can change, the steps in check-in. I can change what information is displayed. I can change what information can be updated or changed and advanced options. It's just a little bit easier as you're working through these setups. And again, you can now edit presets and configurations instead of having to create copies if you wanted to make a small change and push it over to other devices. So again, beforehand, you couldn't edit the existing configurations out there. You'd have to create version 2, version 3, version 4, and then tell everybody to switch over to version 4. So big update for that. So for the workflow, we've added this audio and vibration feedback when scanning in with the camera. Apply this everywhere that uses the camera. So when you scan a bib number or you scan a registration ID, it beeps at you if it's successful. It's just nice feedback from the application when you're running through a lot of these. It's very helpful. Another small change, but it helps out for those events that pre-assign bibs. You can now use bib number lookup when you are scanning. Instead of just the registration ID, you could scan the bib number. In the case that you have already pre-assigned everyone, you can just scan the bib number barcode and it'll bring you right to that registration. Small change to the quick check-in. Again, this is when you're scanning the registration ID, then the barcode, then the registration ID, then the barcode. And now auto confirm it in 10 seconds. It used to be that you had to scan, click OK, scan, click OK. We've removed that last click. Now it's just scan, wait 5 seconds or whatever the timeout is. And it just is completely automated, hands off. So we did this because we have events that use our software up in Wisconsin, really cold events. And they have a car window drive up and they just do scan, hand it to them with gloves on. They can't interact with the app at all. So this is a completely hands-off approach. Another nice one came along with our fundraising updates. You can now search by team fundraiser. If you're looking at all the participants and they tell you what their fundraiser name was, you can type in their fundraiser name, and all of the participants who are part of that team fundraiser will now show up in the list. So a little bit a quick search for that. More details in the check-in confirmation. This is what happens when you check someone in. Nathaniel, I checked him in and I switched his event and I knew he had a large shirt. And down here, we've improved this related registrations flow. So the related registrations used to be called linked registrations. We just changed the name. We thought it made more sense. It's basically anybody who is on the same team as this person, or the same corporate team as this person, or the same transaction as this person, or the same fundraising team as this person. And they'll all show here, and you'll see the status of their check-in. So if someone's coming up, picking up their bib, a lot of times they'll ask like, oh, have my friends on my team picked up? Or, oh, have my other relay members picked up? And you can just see it right there. No, this person hasn't, this person has. If that person hasn't, like, oh, can I get their bib for them? Sure, go right here, click in, and you can check that person in right away. And the label printer support. We finally brought it back. So now we can do label printing on the confirmation page. Like I said, you've probably seen it downstairs by now. Right at top corner here on the check-in review, you can just go ahead and print their info out. You can customize this label. It's actually super flexible. We made it so that you have 3 rows with 3 items, data elements per row, and you can customize what shows in each of these little areas here. You can make the font bigger, smaller. You can align it left, right, center. You can only have one and leave the others blank. You can add labels or not. So name Matt Avery or just say Matt Avery. So a lot of flexibility with this in terms of what you can do to change up the way the labels are looking if you want to. But I think the preset looks pretty nice as is.
One thing I'd like to underscore about the label printing and technology, we spent a lot of time on this in terms of figuring out which way we were going to go. We could have gone one of 2 ways. One is we could use print drivers that were specific to given hardware and just code to that. And the other is that we could just,
it's just really quiet.
The other is that we could use basically the operating system and go print through the operating system. And one of the things that's really happening is that these phones are really turning into computers, and we should think about it that way. Apple and Android are really pushing the envelope. So we went the direction of using the operating system. So what this means is, underscoring what Avery said, is that we invite you to go and play around with different printers, with the print drivers that go with those printers, and then play around with the label settings that we have and just see how it works and give us feedback.
Yeah, because we can't possibly support like everything out there because we can't buy all the label printers in the world and test everything at once. So if you have like a Zebra, let's say, that you really like and you use all the time, let us know about it. If you want to use it with a check-in app and see how it works, and like just work with us and we'll get it officially supported. I think it's totally reasonable. So we just know the Brother 8W10s are really popular, but there may be other ones out there that people want to use. Yeah, so there are some things to come in the next update for check-in. We're going to be adding some more fields that you can print. So a lot of people like to show add-ons. We have that coming pretty soon, so you could show all of your different add items. There's going to be the ability to print labels for those who are already checked in. So sometimes you need to review someone and check them in. Instead, right now, it's only on this check-in confirmation page where you can do that. It will be on the participant. When you click their name, you can go and print right there too. And then we're going to add an option to automatically print after check-in. If you know you're printing for everyone, we're going to make it so as soon as you click save and continue, it's an option. It'll just go and print right away. Okay, so moving on, talking a little bit about the new product for us, RaceDay mobile timing app. So this is a really fun project for us. Actually started off as a co-op project. We work with a school called Rowan, New Jersey, and they have a really great development program there. We work with them with their staff to get involved with their senior project. And we have a group of college students who we work with, myself and Bruce, and we give them a project to work on. They build this little app for us. And so one of the best guys, we get to see who does the most amount of code. And so we always pick the one who like does the whole, because you know how like college projects are, right? Like one person does the whole thing, the group project. So we pick that one and say, hey, do you want to work for us over the summer? And so that was Nathaniel, and he's done a whole lot of great work for us. This was his project for Rowan, and then he brought it to us and finished it off and polished it and made it look really nice when he was working for us in the summer. So it's really cool little utility. It's very similar to like we've seen like web score or ultra sign up mobile timing apps, very similar to that kind of thing. It's meant to be a standalone product. So it's not meant to work necessarily in conjunction with scoring software, but it can be. It's really meant for if you have a small race or let's say an ultra where there's like very low finish volumes, you could use this completely standalone application to time a race. If you're just entering in the times and then someone else is entering in the bibs and positions, it's one way to do it. The other way to do it is enter everything at once. It syncs with RunSignup automatically. So as soon as you're entering the data, it's getting pushed to RunSignup and the results are being displayed there right away. It's very slick application that works right away. Now it does have some limitations. It can only score one event at a time on a single device. So like I'm scoring the 5K right now, start timer, one person's doing that, and then you score the 10K on a different device. Usually not a problem. The other thing is that it can only support one start time per event. So it can't do like wave starts and things like that or corrals. I don't think I'd really want to hand time a race with wave starts and corrals anyway. So it's probably not too big of a deal. And similarly, splits, we can't do that right now. Probably don't plan to. So this is meant to be, like I said, the very basic race. You may be a timing company that's out there that wants to offer your services to events that can't afford your chip systems. This may be something to put in your gauntlet of services that you offer, or it could be something that race directors do on their own. Though I don't trust race directors to do things right. I trust y'all more. So, was there a question? Yeah. So the question was, can you run a couple of those at the same time? And typically what you would do, there's two main modes. Oh, what did I do? Oh, yeah. So typically what you would do is, I don't think I have a file on a slide on this, but typically what you would do is you have one person collecting the finish. All they do is just sit there and say, someone finished, someone finished. Maybe they say bib 1, 2, 3 finished. And another person doing shoot mode. And they would basically say, they get at the end of the shoot, the strip of all of the bottoms of the bibs, and they enter in exactly the order that they know is accurate. And then they merge it all together in the back end. So basically shoot mode is, I know bib 1, 2, 3 finished first, 4, 5, 6 finished second, so on and so forth. So the first mode is, I only care about getting the number of times accurate. Second one is I need to get the bib and the order accurate, and then it merges it all together. So one cool thing about the way it works is on the shoot mode, when you're scanning, or in your, I buried the lead there. When you're entering in the bib numbers, you have the option to scan them. So we can use a camera to actually scan barcodes on the bibs, because a lot of times the bottoms of the bibs you tear off have barcodes. So you can just fan it out, old school pull tag style, and just do boom, 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 and it'll enter them all in. So the other way you can do it is this single finish line mode, where you click this little icon for a grid down here, and it allows you to enter into bib grid mode, which instead of entering like here, where I'm typing in 3001 and recording, it will allow me to enter, basically it shows all of the available bibs for that event. So it'll pull down any of the bibs that are on that race on RunSignup, and it will allow me to pick which bib finished right now. So I'm scrolling through, let's see if this goes to it. Yeah, so it'll load all the bibs that are out there, and I'll pick the bibs as they finish, and it'll show their times actually in this little gray area. So it's a really nice, I think that this is great for small events and low finish volume events. Now you can also use this with race day scoring if you wanted to, or other race director as well. It's the same. We've made the format for this export. You can export timing files and result files to emails yourself, basically. That's what it does. And it's in the same format as PC Timer, if you're familiar with that on Race Director. So you could use this in the same way you use PC Timer as a backup timer solution.
And the point on that I wanted to just raise is I had someone come up to me today in the demo room, and I thought it was a really good use of this. You have a really kind of sketchy area where you want to, it's an altar event, maybe it's way down in the canyon, and you just want to send somebody out there with a phone, and they're going to go and just be scan, 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 scan as they go through that point. Maybe it's a safety thing, and then you send that file back to your scoring, and you now have that split data showing in your scoring, and it can actually be used as a remote timing device.
Yeah.
That point.
So this does, like I said, integrate with RunSignup, but you have the option to do offline events. And if you're doing this like that, like a backup timer, I would set up an offline event that's just like split point 1, split point 2, whatever it is. And then you just can enter it however you want and export it out at the end of the day, and you're good to go. If you did connect it to the RunSignup race, it's going to try to publish the results there. It's not going to make sense. So
Is there going to be instructions?
We've actually added to the next version of RaceDay scoring, and you can just choose PC time, mobile app timing, drop your file, and
we're going to build out a default. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's going to be baked in.
Yep.
Yes.
Do you have the option to like set time or something?
Yes. When you do this, when you enter into this finish line mode, you say start now. So that's all it is.
Right, that's what I was wondering. It's like gun time or time or something you use it as an update.
Oh, so this does record it in time of day in the file.
Oh, okay.
So the file is in time of day.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Sean had a question.
Question for sure.
Do you envision building something where it Dropbox should just put the file in there?
That's what that's
thought
what
about
that already works with that. So it's just a question of making it one step easier where you don't have to email it and then drop it. Yeah, we've been looking at different things that we could do.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. The Dropbox integration is something we have to upkeep, so it's harder. Oh, it's possible. It's a small matter of development. Yes.
The whole time of day thing.
Yeah.
Is there a way, so I'm looking at it right now and there's start time, but there's no way of us like, oh crap, I should have been running this. Like I can enter it, the race started at 8:03.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. Not right now. Not yet. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, that's what I think
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
because
Yeah.
then we don't have 15 things already in our hands.
Mhm.
We can actually put on the floor.
Totally. Yeah, that's a good suggestion to update it. Yep. So sorry, I should have said that. Yeah, it's available on Android right now. We're waiting on Apple review. So it's out there on Apple, and they're taking forever to finish off their review apparently. So it'll be out. I don't know. Who knows? Next week, 2 weeks. It's Apple. Who knows?
So you can only use the shoot mode in a RunSignup race.
Well, you can use it in the same device. So if you're using a local device, you can do finish line, shoot mode, and results review all in one. No problem. Completely offline. The only thing like you'll miss out, you couldn't do like one device and another device without internet together. Okay. We got to keep going because we got race day scoring and there's a whole lot here. And then James has got to do his session. So I gotta keep rolling. So this is the biggest stuff that we've done in 2022. This has been a main priority for us, obviously, and we still have a lot of stuff we want to do, but we got through a whole lot of good features this year. I just wanted to do a review of it. Many of you probably already know about all this stuff I'm talking about, but if you didn't, or if you're not familiar with race day scoring or what we've done recently, this will be good for you. So major areas: lap races, custom report sorting, backup to cloud, race renewal, and our big data check report. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about these. So lap races, this was the concept of, you do a 24-hour run or whatever. We didn't have this for the longest time, and we had to do a major change to our architecture to support this. So basically, you can do all sorts of things with saying that you want to tell the system when people should stop getting laps considered after X hours or after X laps, when people should be considered a finisher after X laps or after X hours. The finisher part is really important if you're using RunSignup results notifications. RunSignup result notifications are a one and done. So like if you are using RunSignup result notifications, you probably don't want them to go out in the first lap. So you have to be very, like when you're thinking about this, you gotta make sure you do this right. So that's why we have those settings in there to determine when those people are considered a finisher. sometimes you just don't know. Maybe it's after 23 hours, you just say, you know what, the next lap, that's good enough, send out the notifications. But you know, this has been a huge update for us and had a lot of successful use out of it. This custom report sorting was another major one. Prior to this update, we really could only sort things on clock time or chip time for our reporting system. So we've unlocked this ability for you to sort on anything you want, pretty much. So you can sort based on age grade. You can sort based on time at some segment if you wanted to do a hill climb type of report where I just want to see the first person to hit the top of the climb. That's what I want to see on the top. You could sort it like that, or any number of wild and crazy things that you dream up that you email me about. So this has been really cool. It allows you to create all sorts of custom scoring methods. Backup to cloud. This is like what Bob was talking about on the session earlier today. It allows you to upload and download scoring configurations, allowing you to seamlessly share these between computers. You can upload to the cloud and restore them onto your computers that are actually scoring the races. So we started this project out with the winter and have been incrementally improving it. And you kind of had to exit the race, delete it back in, was a whole thing. Now you can do it right within the race. So let's say if you're out in the field and something went wrong and a timer in the office, they have your backup because you backed it up. They could go and fix it and push their backup to the cloud. And then you, as you're scoring, can go ahead and restore it flawlessly now. And you can say that you only want to pull the setup in instead of like the whole entire race. So you could just pull in the configuration items and then the reads won't get cleared and wiped away or anything like that. So this has been really nice. Been getting a lot of great feedback on it. And we're adding more and more stuff to it as we go here. So this is really, really cool. The question was, do we have access to the files? Yes, we do. So always. We can always fix your problems, Steve. No. But yeah, so we can basically we can impersonate a user as an admin, and we can see anything that you've created in the backups, and we can get after them. The question was, who has access to this app? Are you talking about RaceDay scoring or RaceDay mobile timing app? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that is available to anyone to use. It is, yeah. So we're not trying to push it as like, we're definitely not going to be marketing this to race directors as like, you don't have to hire a timer anymore. That would be suicidal for me to do. So no, we're definitely not doing that. And I don't want anyone to think that. We are like, we've told the sales team specifically, like, this is not something that you're going to be trying to tell races. Like, you don't got to hire a timer if you use RunSignup. No, that's against our entire philosophy. So we're trying to put this in as a tool in the quiver for timers to use for events that they couldn't bring on because they just couldn't afford to have a timer, or it's just more convenient for like an ultra. You don't want to haul a reader out to a trailhead somewhere. That's really what it's for. Okay, so moving on, the data check report is something that we added in RaceDay scoring. We've had this concept of data actions, which are like automated things that happen as soon as a read at this location happens, and the person who has that read was in the wrong event, switch their event over. So that's like this automation system that we already had. But a lot of times timers don't want things to happen automatically. They want to review them and do them manually. So the data check report is basically like a manual data action. Yep. Oh, yeah, camera. Okay. Sorry. So basically this is like, it'll show details about all these participants, and you can set conditions and say everybody who missed the start read but got the finish read, show me them in a grid. It'll show the times of day that they finished or started or didn't start or didn't finish. And then you can just check boxes here and say, set their DQ field to yes or whatever. So you can just update anything you want. You could do, give me a list of all these participants who didn't start and I want to check them in or something. I don't know. You can do all sorts of weird stuff with it, but it's basically this generic report that you can view and update all this information. We're adding a whole lot of other stuff here. We're adding presets and the ability to export and import those presets. So you could have one that's designated as everybody who's over 90% age grade, because they're probably the wrong age, that kind of thing. Okay, sorry. Oh boy, I don't know how to use this. Okay, so we're finishing up race day scoring now. What's coming next? We have a whole lot on our plate still. We have so many great features that you all suggest to us, and please continue to do so, because everything that we build comes from everyone in the room here. And I try and do a really good job of itemizing all of the requests that come in, and I try and follow up with each of them individually, because it's really important to me to make sure that y'all are happy, and we're built. Hey, I've been using this, but I feel like it could be a little bit better. Let us know. We'll get it in the queue. It might not be next week. It might not be 2 weeks later. It could be, but we'll get it in the queue and we'll work on it. So some of the big things we're working on is this direct announcer window that's focused on fast processing. This has been a major project. Michael, one of our head developers, is rewriting our database structure that we may migrate the entire application to at some point to be very, 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 very fast. The whole thing is just how fast can we process the data that's getting ingested and display it as soon as possible. So first, we're building out this little proof of concept that's just a leaderboard. So it's just like your announcer leaderboard. So as soon as a read comes in, pop it up on the screen, and we'll put in the stuff like your birthday's next week, your age group, all that kind of the stuff that people like to see in an announcer. So that's going to be coming soon. Some big cross-country updates coming for the fall, finish links and mile split exports. We know you need to get that participant data into your finish links and mile split systems. Unattached runner support is out. So now you don't have to worry about runners in cross-country who aren't a part of a team. Full corral and team sync support. These are things that RunSignup doesn't have a full sync ability for, and so we're working with their team to make it better. Right now with corrals, you can't add corrals back to RunSignup. So we're operating under limited capabilities right now. More data check improvements. Longer term, which are some things that are kind of up for discussion. And if you're coming to the talk later today, it's like our timer cab, essentially. Please give us feedback on these items and more if you have ideas. These are some things we're thinking about adding on in the future. Timer dashboard stats. This is something that we want to be working on at some point. It's basically the concept that you want to see this race progress and how races are going that your organization is scoring this weekend on your timer dashboard. So it could show, okay, this race has turned on their connector or started collecting reads, and they've got 10 starts and 5 finishes. This one's got nothing. The race started a half an hour ago. Maybe I ought to give them a call. Some things like that, just so you as a organizer back at the office can kind of get that summary data and figure out if there's issues and need to be addressed. Timer branding and customization is a huge thing, really important. And we want to do a better job of supporting timers. So we can put logos on kiosks. So we can put logos in reports. You can customize your reports to put your timer name in them, things like this. We have some really good ideas here, but we're always looking for more feedback on how we can highlight your businesses more, because that's what we want to do. Things like adding custom colors and logos, custom headers, we put your own HTML in there, quick links to sections within reports, all sorts of fun things we have ideas for. And a manual backup time selection. This is a big one. We don't have a great way of processing backup data manually. It's all automatic, similar to that data action thing. So we're looking at ways to make that system better if you wanted to manually process backup data, which we don't really have a good solution for now. I think that's everything that I have, and we'll be opening up for questions later, but James.
Yeah, a little short on time here.
Sorry, I
No problem.
apologize.
The one thing I want to underscore, if you get anything out of this session today, is what I'm going to say right now. And that is RunSignup has put a lot of money into building this software over the last 6 years. This last year, I added 3 developers. We have 7 developers working full-time on these apps in Race Day Scoring and RaceJoy. That's a lot of development for tools that we basically give you guys to go use so that you are successful in what you're doing. And that's our mission. Our mission is to be a partner with you as timers. Like I did RaceDay way back in the day, and that's how I got acquired and brought in, to this organization. And the real mission there was to like get with timers and have timers distribute our product. And it's the same thing that's going on here. So I just really want to underscore that, to remember that we are really committed to building these tools so that you guys are successful in having the software that you need. So I'm just going to go real quickly through what we've done on RaceDay this year. So again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on virtual. We spend a lot of time on virtual. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on that in virtual challenge. The one thing I'll say here is don't forget this stuff. Like if you have a marathon, add that challenge as a training program. Use these tools. Tell your race directors like, hey, these tools are available to help keep people engaged, because we are trying. I talked to somebody yesterday. It's called unscheduling. Okay, what's going on right now is people became unscheduled during COVID. We got to get people scheduled back in. We got to get them thinking about doing this stuff again. These are tools will help get you people engaged and get scheduled back into doing your events. Okay. One of the things we did, if you haven't played around with our geo-based messages, tomorrow I'll do the suite run, come out and experience. I've kind of gone a little bit overboard, so it's a lot of messages, so just bear with it. But understand the technology is there for you to really have a participant experience your course in a different way. It may be historical, it may be theme, whatever, but like this stuff can be dynamically done. You can actually change the messages during the event if you wanted to. So we really changed that this year to really make it real time. We spent a lot of time. I hired a user interface person. I've never had that. So the old interface was me, okay? I'm sorry, a little clunky. But we got a really great guy. He's really helping me to make the app look a lot more professional, a lot more like what you see these other apps. So he's come on, and we're really going to see a lot of changes coming in the interface this year with Scott's work on this. Another big thing for you. So with registration integration now, if you get that data loaded into RunSignup, you don't even have to use RunSignup. So if you've got an event that you sold for RaceDay, just get the data loaded into RunSignup. Participants will be coming in, they'll find themselves, they won't have to create profiles. It's a really nice experience to come in like, oh yeah, I'm part of the event. I found my person, I just start tracking. So all that's been added. We're really syncing that information. It's all real time. So changes that are being made are immediately updated in the app. Bibs that are being assigned are immediately updated. So all that kind of data sync is now happening with RaceDay, not just RaceDay Scoring. If you're doing any kind of ultra events, any kind of water events, any kind of event that has any kind of safety aspect. We have a lot of events coming to us with like water type stuff. We have a new feature called SOS. And what this allows is bidirectional communication. Participants can actually hit a button, send you a message directly into operations. And you can also have that gone to an email distribution list. You'll get that message and you can actually message them back. So now you can have bidirectional communication with people. Bike events with SAG, really nice feature. Like you can be literally saying, I need help, I need assistance here. We have this concept of drop a pin. I may have a runner down having a heart issue. Somebody else can just drop a pin saying right here, this person needs help. So other people are able to actually send these messages and it'll drop a pin at that location. Your emergency staff can actually see where it's happening and get to that location. So for you timers working with our maps, I hope that you're finding, Sean, it easier and easier as we do maps. We continue to add these things called map anomalies. We basically are telling you, hey, we are seeing this is kind of weird on the map, fix this, fix that. So hopefully you're finding it a little bit easier to load in those paths and make the changes as you go. And I talked about the geo loading and the map improvements. Just some nice things we've added to the mapping, just trying to continue to make that easier. Yeah, there's a few things. So again, we're going to focus this year, again, continuing to make the UI a lot more refreshed. But this is the other thing that is coming out very shortly, and I'm really happy about this. I've been wanting to do this. There's two things I've really been wanting to do for the last 3 years that I haven't been able to do because I've been spending all my time on RaceDay Scoring. One of the things is an Apple Watch, but that's going to be put off till some time because we do get that constantly. People just want to run with their watch if they have the cell data. The second is this, and this is coming out very shortly. For mapping in those events where they're offline, and they'll have that imagery that comes from Google, which is satellite and tile-based imagery. Like that stuff could be downloaded and kept resident on the phone. So now if I'm out doing an event and I'm in a canyon and I can actually look down now and I can see my map, I can see my path, I can be completely offline for that entire course and actually have my imagery. And that's something that we're adding into RaceJoy that's going to be coming out in the next week or so. So now you can truly offer RaceJoy and completely no cell type races. The thing you give away is that spectators won't be able to track them and see them. But for the participant, if you're only caring about the participant, you sell it that way, they can have everything they need in order to get through your trail event. Whoops, there's the wrong thing. Okay, again, if you want to win an Apple Watch, please come by and watch the demo. All you got to do is just watch any part of the demo, grab one of those purple stickers, pull out the one that says keep my part and put the other part in, and we'll be giving out an Apple Watch. And then if you want to come down, at least come down and watch the monitoring part of the suite run tomorrow. You can, as Chris said, you can play around with scoring and you can break scoring and he'll have to fix it. And then you can see the RaceJoy monitoring and you can kind of see how it all goes. If you want to use and walk or run, it's a 3.4, 3.5 mile course. We put it together and just load RaceJoy on your phone and set yourself up. And yeah, we'll be doing some nice prizes tomorrow. So I'll give you a hint since you're in the room. Get somebody to send you a whole bunch of cheers and you can start right now. And you might win some money. Question?
Yeah, any questions? Wow. Well, thank you. What is it? It's got a spotter. Anyway, that's all. I think we're good. I want to say thank you, everyone in the room who we've worked with. Honestly, you guys give us the best ideas ever. Continue to do so, please. If it sounds like sometimes we're like, oh, that's a big thing to work on, it's not like we're not going to work on it. It's more like we got to plan this out and we got to do it right. So thanks for being patient if something takes long, but thank you for your awesome ideas. We love working with y'all.
Thank you.